After years of wedded bliss, Nick couldn't take it any longer. Melissa, through no fault of her own, had grown up in a home without cable TV or a VCR. If that last sentence confused you, Google it. This had resulted in her having very little pop culture movie knowledge. In order to right this injustice, the duo will watch and discuss movie after movie until Melissa has caught up with the zeitgeist of her generation. Welcome to their journey. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Hello.
Hello.
We are in December.
Merry Christmas.
It's not quite time yet.
Oh,
but
it is.
Yeah,
but it is.
We can legally, I believe, start listening to Christmas music. I'm pretty sure it's legal now.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's on.
It was not legal before. So do you know what movie we're going to watch this week?
I have no idea.
You know what's funny?
What? I
didn't have any idea either a moment ago. I usually have a list of my movies and it was blank and I was like searching through the recesses of my memory. What was I gonna? Oh, I want to watch one of my favorite Christmas movies. So I'm pulling an audible. It's a movie you've seen, I think, but I really want to watch it. So we're gonna. Does that help at all?
I can't remember the name of the movie that I want to guess. The Bruce Willis movie.
That's hilarious. No, it's not it.
What's the name of that one?
I'm not telling you.
Doing it.
Because you need to stew in your shame. No. No. Stew in your shame. And
okay, fine.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We're going to watch Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Yes.
I think I've seen it.
That's what I said.
Long time ago.
I think you've seen it. But I'm pretty sure you don't remember any of it.
I don't remember any of it. And I forgot that I didn't know it was a Christmas movie.
I mean, people have loose definitions of Christmas movies.
You mean you have loose definitions of Christmas movies?
I mean, the movie you just thought of is a Christmas movie, but most people wouldn't call it a Christmas movie. So,
yeah, the movie I just thought of.
Yeah, that movie, which you'll find out later what it is.
Okay, Gremlins, I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So how much do you know about this one?
Like you can't put water on them after midnight or something?
Or something, yeah.
Yeah, and then something bad happens and then they turn... At first they're cute, but then they're not.
What's the bad thing that happens?
They turn into like ugly gremlins that are like destructive.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be like, I don't know. They chew with their mouth open or they have bad attitudes.
They get grumpy.
Anything else? You know, that's a great synopsis, by the way.
That's all I know.
Okay, that's all I know. Okay. Do you know what year it was made in? Do you want to guess?
88.
You're just saying that because Willow was made in 88.
Maybe I am.
Okay. So, how are you feeling now that we're going to watch this one?
Oh, great. I'm excited.
I love this movie and I don't think I've seen it. Oh, I'm remembering all the scenes and I'm getting wrapped up in it. There's just a lot of scenes I like and I'm excited to watch it. So
hey,
I hope it's not capable of you being as excited as I am because you don't know much about it. So yeah. Do you have a word or two you'd like to leave us with before we enter into seeing this one?
Holiday snarling.
Snarling.
I just hear like gremlins snarling.
Nice.
In my mind.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. We can microwave that later to heat it up if it gets cold.
I kind of get that.
Oh, okay.
I see that. I know that's coming.
Oh, all right. Well, let's go check it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, that's my best gremlin laugh.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
Ho, 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 ho.
There's so many. You know what? Say what you will about gremlins. They're pretty happy.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun.
They have a lot of fun. Like lots of laughing, lots of singing. Sure, they destroy things and kill people. But you know what? We could use a little more of that in our lives, right?
They're also master electricians.
That's also true.
I mean, there's a lot of talent there.
There's a lot of untapped talent. And they have to... What?
They're like evil gnomes or like the seven dwarves.
Oh, yeah.
But just a bad... not bad.
Yeah.
A disastrous version.
Yes. The fact, too, like... I'm getting gremlins are just fascinating to me in general. It reminds me of like insects who are born and they instantly have like the generational knowledge. It's like genetic knowledge. They know how to do these things. So it's interesting to think they immediately know how to do everything. They pop out and I'm getting ahead of myself though.
They can speak.
They can speak.
They know English.
They know all this stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so wow, that was Gremlins. So do you want to give us your patented summary of the film?
I'd love to.
Okay, great.
Oh my gosh. Gremlins, they were so cute. Okay, so it starts out with this dad in a Chinatown shop being led down the stairs into this dark, out of the way shop. He's trying to sell his gadgets because he's an inventor.
Yes.
But he's also looking for a Christmas present to bring home to his son. And so he doesn't get a sale, unfortunately, but he sees in the corner, or he hears these really cute noises coming from a cage that's like shrouded under a blanket. And he peeks in and it's, what's the name?
Mogwai.
It's a Mogwai. So cute.
I love Gizmo singing.
Yeah. He's musical.
He's very musical.
So even though the owner does not want to get rid of him, he's like, no, not for sale. The kid sneaks it out and makes the sale anyway.
Oh yeah, the grandson, right?
Yeah, the grandson. But there's 3 rules with this pet.
Ooh, okay.
Rule number 1, they don't like the light. You have to keep it dark for them.
Okay.
Rule number 2, you don't get them wet.
Okay.
No water. And rule number 3, don't feed them after midnight.
Got it.
So armed with that knowledge, the man goes home, brings it home to his son, who works at the bank. And it's Christmas in town, and he gives it to his boy. And the first part of the movie is just like really cool, like bonding time between him and the Mogwai. But let's see what happens. Then Corey Feldman comes over.
Corey again.
Another Corey.
Yes.
Appearance move. He comes over to visit the boy.
First off, he's dressed as a tree. Also, too, contextually, this entire movie takes place during like Christmas week, probably.
Yeah, like right up to Christmas.
There's snow everywhere. Yeah. So it's a Christmas movie.
It is. Yeah, it's absolutely a Christmas movie. The whole town, like they're buying Christmas trees. There's Christmas decorations. So where was I?
Corey Feldman comes over dressed as a tree.
Dressed as a tree.
Because he's delivering a Christmas tree.
Right. Takes off the costume, and the boy is like, hey, do you want to see my new pet? And so they
Billy, the son.
Thank you. His name is Billy.
His name is Billy.
He has a name.
He's
important. He's the main
character. He's the main character besides Gizmo.
He's the hero.
Yes.
So Billy shows him, and while they're hanging out and checking out this really cool Mogwai.
First off, Billy has an amazing bedroom too. He lives in an attic, and I want to live there even though I'm a grown man. I want to live in his attic because it was so cool. Anyway.
Yeah. Did you want to go on?
No, I love... That is like my perfect 80s room that he had. It was perfect. It was awesome. Yeah.
It seemed real. It's a room that a real kid had.
He had 80s. Like the TV mounted in the rafters, and then he had posters on the slant of the roof, like so cool.
He had a desk with a keyboard on it.
Yes, a synthesizer.
Yeah. So he was playing notes, and then the Mogwai.
Yeah.
Gizmo is what he named Mogwai.
Yeah. It's a Mogwai.
So it was fun, like seeing him, just hanging out with his Mogwai. But then Feldman knocks over a glass of water, and it's like, oh no.
What was in that?
And so the Gizmo starts like sizzling and falls to the ground, and he's in pain. And you're like, your heart's breaking because he's so adorable and he's in pain. Like, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then all that happens is like this fur ball pops off and lands. That's exactly what happens. It just pops off and lands over there on the shag carpet. And and then like 4 more pop off. And then that's all. They just sit there. It's weird. These little puff balls. So you don't know what's going to happen, but you know. This is not going to be good. Okay, so then he also brings one to his science teacher because Billy brings one.
The puff balls they grow and they become other Mogwai.
Oh yeah, that happens right away.
Happens right away.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Yeah,
they have a very suspenseful moment where you just see the ball and it's kind of like oozing and like pulsating.
Yeah.
And then it pops into like another Mogwai.
Okay, yeah. So then, there's the other Mogwai. And whoa, so much cuteness. This is great. But Gizmo's not pleased. He's like, I don't want to hang out with that crew. Mm-mm.
No, he always wants to be away. Yeah.
Okay, so then he does bring one to his science teacher.
Oh yeah,
Billy
I mean,
brings
it's
one.
totally like a weird phenomena. So he takes one over to the science teacher and he shows him, they do the eyedropper and they put a single drop of water on him. And then
Right. That happens again. So now we've got more Mogwai, but they're not like the original. They're kind of like more easily agitated. They're more demanding. Like Gizmo's like totally chill. He'll just hang with you. You don't have to do anything. He just wants to hang.
Yeah.
He's like a good cat. But the other ones, the new Mogwai, they're troublemakers.
They sure are.
And I think they like lock the dog out of the house and tangle it up in the Christmas tree lights. Like they're not good. They don't have good intentions.
How something that's like 6 inches high or 10 whatever they are, they're tiny. They're the size of your hand, slightly bigger. How they got a dog like at 7 feet in the air hanging by Christmas lights? It just baffles me. It's one of the mysteries of the movie to me. But anyway, without anyone noticing.
Yeah. And in the new Mogwai group, there's one that has like this white mohawk.
Yeah.
And he kind of seems to be the leader.
Spike.
Spike, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the leader. He whispers pss, 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 and like things happen.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Billy has a life. You know, he works at the bank. There's a girl there that he likes.
Ooh.
She also has to like work at the bar to like help out at night. So she's just like really good-hearted.
Doing it all,
like helping out everyone. Let's see. They bring the thing to the science teacher.
Yep.
But then
he keeps one. And then Billy takes his original back, but the science teacher keeps one.
But then a rule gets broken.
Another one?
Another one.
Man.
Spike and his crew of like the new Mogwai.
Yeah.
They break Billy's clock.
Yeah.
So he thinks it's 11:30, but it's not.
Yes.
And they're like, we're hungry. And he's like, okay, here, have this chicken. A plate of chicken from the like chicken drumsticks.
20
that's
drumsticks.
Sitting on a plate in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
And so they eat after midnight.
What happens when they're on a plane and they're in different time zones and they eat? Does that make them change too?
And when does it reset? So you can't feed them after midnight. But then isn't it technically always after midnight?
Yeah, I would think, I thought about that while we were watching it. I'm like, it's got to be like related to dawn. Like at dawn is when you could feed them again or something like that. But anyway.
I'd like to talk to Steven Spielberg more about...
Chris Columbus wrote this too, so we should talk to him as well.
Agreed, yes. Yeah. Like I have a get-together just on their anatomy and...
Yeah, totally. We need to get into we need to solve these problems. These are important problems facing our generation.
So it gets weirder though, because after they eat... Billy,
he wakes up the next morning,
He wakes up the next morning and they're like... these weird chrysalises or pods.
Yeah, pods.
They're pods. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, a chrysalis is a pod, but they're so big. That's why I would call it a pod.
And the same thing happened at the doctor or with the science teacher. His little gizmo guy stole a sandwich.
He had my favorite line of the movie too.
What was that?
That Mogwai. My favorite line of the movie is yum yum. He just looks at the sandwich and goes yum yum and drags it across the desk. It's my favorite line of the movie.
They're so mischievous.
They are.
Okay, so then we're in trouble because they're in the pods, and when they bust out,
there's lots of what was that? The fog. There's dry ice.
Yeah.
There's like neon, like yellow lights coming out from inside the pot. Like, what is in these things? It's crazy.
Well, there's a whole like metamorphosis happening.
Yeah.
They don't come out the same.
I've seen butterflies come out before, and I don't remember any fog or lights.
Really?
But anyway, they're not magical.
Well, Billy's, he's out while his mom is home.
Yeah.
And the gremlins break out.
He goes to check on the teacher.
Yeah. The teacher. Oh my gosh. He gets killed.
Well...
Is he?
You can infer, yeah, he probably died. They just show him like his hand getting grabbed and he just screams.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually Billy comes in. No, he comes in and then there's a thing. He had done a blood draw on the Mogwai.
Right.
So then later the gremlin, like you find him with the syringe in his gluteus maximus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He didn't like having his blood drawn, apparently.
So Billy sees this gremlin there.
That's the
and
first
he's
one,
like, oh no, what is going on?
Yeah.
And he goes after it. Like they tussle and they're like fighting each other.
Yeah.
But the reveal of it is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't see it right at first.
Yeah, he like pops out of that medicine cabinet. You're like, how did he get to the medicine room before Billy got there? And how did he get into the cabinet? It's not like there's a vent there. Anyway.
I don't know. Maybe there is.
Maybe there is. Lots of cabinets. Like the next time you open your cupboard, make sure there's not a vent in it that a gremlin can get through.
Okay, so then he gets this gremlin. He takes care of it.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, he doesn't.
Doesn't
it gets
he?
away.
Oh, it does?
I'm pretty sure that one gets away. Yeah. Because his mom
His
is
mom,
like
my hero.
She's like the action hero of the 80s to me. I remember her in these scene, the next scene you're talking about. Like, yeah.
So he's like, he has to go home. He's like, Mom, I'm on my way. This is like, watch out. And so she's warned over the phone. Get out of the house. But she doesn't.
Not my house.
She stays to protect her house. And the best part is like they're in the kitchen and she grabs knives. She's so prepared. She grabs a knife and she just yells, "Get out of my kitchen!" Which is exactly how I feel like when I'm making cookies and people are stealing the dough. That is how I feel.
I mean,
she's defending her turf.
The gremlin was eating like her cookies. She was making gingerbread men. He was eating that. Yeah,
that's right.
Which actually, you made gingerbread men this year. Did you make those this week because you saw them in the movie?
Inspiration.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So she was amazing. She kills like 3 of them in the kitchen. It's this awesome like ninja kitchen fight scene.
Yeah, the microwave's my most memorable one for me. But, yeah.
You've mentioned the microwave scene a lot.
It left an impression on me as a young lad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I never put things in the microwave because of this movie, except for, food. Like I've heard of people like wanting to try putting different objects in the microwave, like when they were younger to see what happens. Never did it.
Really?
No, I didn't. I think it was because of Gremlins.
Wow. It makes me want to put the microwave, out of the kitchen. So
could make it a PSA. Maybe.
So anyway, they're doing good. They're like killing the gremlins, him and his mom, Billy and his mom. But the Spike escapes. Spike. He's trouble. So he escapes and he goes to the YMCA.
It's fun to stay there.
You can get yourself clean in the pool.
You can replicate thousands of yourself.
And that's what he does. And he jumps in the pool and it's this crazy, like bubbling, gurgling, more fog, more smoke.
It's my second favorite line in the movie.
And I think like the whole metamorphosis thing happens like super fast at this point. Well,
it just compounds. Like they pop out, I'm sure. And then the second they pop out, they create another one because they're immersed in water. So that's why there's just a bajillion of them.
What's your favorite line here?
Oh, in that one, they have this shot where he jumps in, he does a cannonball into the pool, and you see him in like the cannonball position. Like
Spike the gremlin?
Yes, falling through the water. And he goes, "Wow." That's my second favorite line in the movie.
Okay. Awesome.
Like there are certain lines for me from movies I see that just echo through my mind for years and decades. That is one of those, that noise just echoes through my mind. Last week I told you how the Val Kilmer like pig shot made it just sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
Those 2 things have stuck in my mind
the microwave and the cannonball.
Well, the microwave, yes, the cannonball, but the line too, the yum yum line too, that just pops in my head every once in a while.
How old were you when you saw this movie?
I don't know. What year did you think it was made again?
I saw it accidentally.
Oh.
I know what year it was made. 1984.
Yep. And you were bad. Like it was 88 was your guess. So you were pretty close. I honestly don't remember. This was one that was on TV. This is another like TBS movie.
Whoa.
And this movie too, I think I mentioned was the reason that PG-13 was created. Like this movie was like it was rated PG. And people would drop their kids off to see movies. It was the 80s. And then this is what they saw. There's like killing, maiming, gore from, it's creature effects gore and stuff. But still, it's pretty intense.
There's also like this backstory of a girlfriend.
Yes.
Where she describes how she lost her father.
Yes.
Which is horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrific.
Yeah.
And she describes that in great detail.
Yes.
Of this mishap that happened on a Christmas Eve.
I was talking to one of my horror movie friends, and he was like, that was actually the scariest part of the movie for me growing up. That part scarred me, hearing that story. The Gremlins I was fine with as a kid, he said, but like that part did it for him.
I could see that. I could see why the Gremlins kids would like love seeing that. Those are fun. They're not scary. And they're animated really well. They're like, they're not, I don't mean animated, but they're little robotic. Yeah. Like the way they were.
The puppetry and animatronics.
It was done really well. But that story.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
You were saying something before that.
Oh, you asked me how old I was when I saw it. And I was, I don't know, probably 10-ish, maybe a little younger. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Well, there's a part where after they've multiplied, then they just take over the town.
Of course.
Like they're just ravaging the town.
Yeah. Billy tries to get the cops to understand.
Oh my gosh. The cops who are drinking and playing games at the office.
Yes.
And then you start to see their electronic skills really come to life. They break into electrical boxes. They change lights. They make a wheelchair, like a electric wheelchair that goes like up the stairs. They make that go like super fast.
Yes.
Then they take over the movie theater and they watch Snow White.
Oh yeah.
Seven Dwarfs.
Yep.
Because who doesn't need a good movie break?
That's a great scene.
When you're destroying a town.
Yes. When they're all watching Snow White. I love that part.
And they're like singing along.
Yeah, totally.
It's like if you took all the bad kids in 3rd grade or maybe 1st grade, you took all the stinkers.
I think 3rd grade's appropriate. But yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Wow. Yeah. So then they're all in the same spot. Oh, opportunity. So.
Yeah.
That's when Billy uses some skills of his own to take out the theater.
Right.
But guess who escapes?
Spike. Yeah. And what happens then?
Well, I think the reason Spike just survived out of sheer dumb luck. He just happened to see candy. He wanted candy during the movie, and he like looks across the street and sees a candy store. So he goes over there, yum yum, and it's another
yum yum.
That's a good line too. But yeah, he goes over there, and then Spike just goes on a rampage. He's just trying to escape he's just trying to live. And by, trying to kill Billy when Billy comes after him.
Right. So the showdown happens in the candy store.
Yeah, I think it's like it wasn't a Montgomery Ward, but it was like one of those everything stores.
Yeah. Piggly Wiggly.
Community stores, Piggly Wiggly, whatever you want. Woolworth.
Yeah. Something like
whatever
that.
You want to call it.
And they finally get him because the light.
Who specifically though? Because he's he has his finger in a fountain and he is like, there's bubbles on his back about to pop. And then Gizmo
rides in on this like little toy car.
It's the Barbie dream car, I think. But
Barbie dream car. Yeah. It's amazing.
I know.
I'd really like to see Gizmo meet Baby Yoda.
Oh my goodness.
I really want to see a play date with those guys.
Yeah, they would probably talk about their ears. Yeah.
They could like style their ears. That'd be so cute. Okay, so Gizmo rides in the Barbie dream car. And does he run into what does he do?
He uses a ramp. There's like a shovel and he uses that as a ramp.
Yeah.
And he launches across the room and then he grabs like Spike's about to get his gun and
because at this point he has a gun.
He's just packing heat. And he's about to shoot Gizmo, then Gizmo just grabs the shade. Like he grabs the if it were the modern shades where you have to push a button and physically push it up instead of the drawstring, he wouldn't have been able to do it, but it was a drawstring.
We'd be overrun with Gremlins.
We'd be overrun with Gremlins to this day.
Yeah.
Modern technology.
Gizmo, he saves everything with the blind pulling up and the sun hits.
Yep.
And it's the day is
the effects of that too are pretty intense too.
Yeah.
Like when he just melted and became a skeleton. It was pretty it's pretty crazy. Yeah. And then after that, do you remember what happens after that or do I?
Yeah, go on.
Exposition. The guy, the owner of the store comes. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry, no, the guy from the store in the Little China.
Yeah.
He comes back and he takes Gizmo back. And I'm like, oh, I was so sad.
Yeah.
I was still hoping that like he could just stay with Billy because they were like really close.
Yeah.
He was a great pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gizmo's the best pet, except for the whole water thing.
Except for the whole water thing and all the rules. Yeah, he's a great pet.
Yeah.
I wanted him when I was a kid. I actually think I had him.
Really?
Yeah, I had a little toy of him, a plastic one, and it was a decent size too, and I played with it a lot.
What came first, Furby or
Gizmo.
Mogwai?
Mogwai,
Gizmo?
way before Furbies. Furbies were like the 90s, I think, if I remember right.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, at least 5 years more before.
He was so cute.
So are you glad you saw this one?
Yeah, I'm really glad I saw it.
Think it'll make the Christmas rotation every year? What do you think?
I don't know.
We'll see how you feel next year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite part of the movie?
Oh, the mom.
The mom?
Yeah, I loved the mom. Also, it was sweet. Well, back to the mom first. She was just like fearless in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And even though after that fight, she was upset and she went to her neighbor's house and Billy was like, my mom's had a fall, take care of her, and just kind of shoves her in and then runs out to save the world. Even though she kind of like melted down afterwards, she was in the moment, strong, solid, awesome.
She was.
Yeah. She thought to put it in the microwave. Smart.
Now, one would think just generally leaving your microwave door open was a bad habit, but not really. It saved her in this instance, so it worked out quite well.
I also loved just in the family, like the dad, he's trying so hard with these like inventions, but
he's so set.
They're not,
yeah,
they're not workable. Like they just,
yes, it's sweet how the mom is like, they work great for the first week or so. And then they just stop. But
every invention, she tries it. She uses it first.
She does.
So instead of answering the phone, she picks up this like remote control and undoes the antenna, like this long pull-out antenna, and then points it at the phone, which is ringing.
It's only 8 feet away too, maybe 7 feet away. It's not far.
And she pushes the one green button on the top of this contraption.
Yep.
And then like waits for it to work. The phone is still ringing. She's still trying.
Mm-hmm.
And only when it doesn't work the second time, then she's like, okay, I'll just go answer the phone.
And I love it. And in that one in particular, the dad is the one calling. And he's like, you're not using the thing?
I know.
That's great.
It's really funny. But the family bond, it's a good family bond. It's a strong family unit.
Yeah, totally.
So I like that a lot. The dad's cool. And he's the one who, at the end of the movie, there's a sword on their wall. Mm-hmm. And doesn't he use the sword? Or
no, that's Billy.
Billy
uses the sword
right.
when Mom's getting attacked by Spike, I think. Or not Spike's friend, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you really hope for Billy that he, like, kind of is successful in his life.
Billy or the dad?
Well, the dad, of course. But Billy, because you see him in his, like, this is like a...
He's an aspiring artist.
Yeah, and working at the bank. So you hope that he...
Man,
finds his niche.
If only there were a movie that could answer some of these questions you're wondering about.
Is Billy in the next movie?
Have you seen Gremlins 2?
No, I've not seen Gremlins 2. Does it take place in Christmas?
I can't tell you any more than I've
Is
already
it an
said.
Easter movie?
I've said too much. I can tell you safely, I don't think it's an Easter movie.
Okay. Man.
Sorry.
We don't have enough of those.
We don't have enough Easter movies. That's true. So what would you rate this one, like, in your scale of things?
This movie I rate, I wish the kids could watch it.
Oh.
It's
a PG-13.
So much of it is like really great and fun. And it's I can see how it's a great kids movie. Uh-huh. But yeah, I think ours just need to be a little bit older to handle those scary parts we talked about.
Sounds like you're saying it's a future family fun movie.
Yes.
Love it.
Or like, I can't wait to show it to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think this movie landed in the world? What do you think the splash was like?
Well, because of the whole PG-13 controversy, I bet this was a huge movie because it's a Christmas kids movie. It had to be big.
Well, it was released in June, which is funny to release. It's set in Christmas, but it was released in June.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But the way that movies worked back then, though, like, it was not uncommon for movies to be in a theater for like a year. Like, there were just fewer movies and the runs in theaters were much longer.
Weird.
Now the structure is like, you got to like release it. And if it doesn't make money within the first weekend, then it just tapers off and you just pull it. Like, But no, like it was common for them to run a long time. The budget for this movie was $11 million.
Whoa.
And it made that back in its first weekend. And then it went on to make like $150 million, which is a pretty good return on your investment.
Cha-ching.
And the merchandising, crazy. Like all the toys. Howie Mandel, bless his heart, he had to do this voice he probably still gets asked to do it too.
That's Howie Mandel's voice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's Gizmo.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, awesome. If they do another one, you could definitely be Gizmo.
Could I?
Yeah, you could do the voice.
I think Howie would probably arm wrestle me for it. Sentimentality's sake,
I'm guessing in the sequel, there's a girl, Mogwai.
Ooh.
That's my
guess. Are you calling it out? Okay. You're guessing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think this one holds up well?
Mostly. The puppetry. I just hate answering this question.
That's fine.
The puppetry is great.
Uh-huh.
It's really great. It's like up there. I mean, it wasn't a Henson production, but it's
calling them out.
I'm just comparing it to the top in my mind, which in that day, the top of puppetry for me was the Muppets.
Sure.
Henson. But then, so the puppetry is amazing. And some of the effects are like a little dated, but it's mostly great.
Oh, yeah. Like the close-up shots of the Mogwais were insane. They used the fog lens. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
It was like slightly, has a little fuzz to it, but it looked amazing. I don't know how big that puppet was for those scenes, but I would not be surprised if it was huge.
Really?
And they just scaled it, so they could control the complexity of the eyes and the mouth and everything they did. And they had the detail of the moisture on his nose, like a dog kind of. And it was really cool.
All of the expressions, that was amazing. And even like when the Gremlins were kind of running around the town and they're like on bicycles and they're just doing all crazy, all sorts of things. That must have been such a huge project, but it turned out great and that looks really good still.
I like how they leveraged animation too sometimes.
When was the animation brought in?
A lot of times when they were showing like a lot of them, they were doing animation.
Oh, okay.
Like the scene in the movie theater where you see Billy behind the screen, and then all of a sudden you see all the Gremlins starting to run. You see their shadows coming at you. That's like animation.
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
Stuff like that. It's cool. They did a lot of cool stuff creative with like practical effects. It was, for the time, there were a few scenes where you're like, Gizmo looks a little chunky in that one. Like when he was standing freestyle on the desk, he looked a little chunkier kind of.
I don't mind a chunky Gizmo.
No, I mean like by chunky, I mean movement wise.
Clunky?
Yeah, he looked a bit more bulky and stuff. But in general, it just, I think the effects are good. They're great. Like they were amazing at the time. And when you look at them now, you're like, those are pretty good, which to me is like, it's harder to do better than amazing when you release something, So anyway, I like that. So what do you think the worst part of the movie was?
The worst part? Oh, that Gizmo gets taken away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he says at the end?
No, what does he say?
Do you know the guy who was the store owner? Do you know who that is?
No, who is that?
He's there was a movie, not a movie. There was a TV show in the 70s called Kung Fu.
Oh.
Yeah. David Carradine was in it.
Yeah.
And like there were the format for that show was it was him like Kane in Kung Fu. He's like wandering the West looking for his brother. That's the format. But then every time in the episode he has a flashback and it shows Kane when he's a boy and then he's with his teacher. And he'll be like, teacher, and ask him questions. And then the teacher will go, grasshopper. And then he will give him some cryptic piece of wisdom. So that's that actor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I just love, that's part of the thing I love about movies is seeing the connectedness, and you see people throughout their careers and they do different things and jump in and out.
Yeah.
That actually segues into your favorite question, which is what, if any, messages were in this film? Do you know why I said that, first of all?
Well, it's your normal question, but why?
Well, why did I say it segued, though?
I don't know. Why?
Because the store owner totally, like, we watched it and you looked at me and went, message, when we were watching it. You don't remember what he said, did you?
No, I don't remember. What did he say?
Oh, no. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
You had a total cheat sheet, but what do you think the message of this film was?
Well, actually, there was a message that you learned from this film.
Oh.
About keeping a sword by the door.
That's fair. Yes. There was a sword by the door and it came in very handy.
Right.
That's true.
Even though it was annoying because it kept falling off the wall.
Yes.
But having it there in the end proved to be extremely life-saving, actually.
Yes.
Right.
So message of the film is always keep a weapon handy.
Yeah.
Okay. The store owner said something akin to, you treat the Mogwai how your culture treats everything.
Oh, he did say that. Harsh words of truth, just piercing the heart.
Not taking into consideration any rules or regulations or anything or traditions. You just do what you want and look at the destruction it sows.
There it is. Thank you for answering the question for me.
Feels more poignant nowadays too, actually.
No, it's pretty relevant.
Okay. So do you have any questions for me about any of the movie or anything before I...
Who's your favorite Mogwai / Gremlin?
Besides Gizmo?
I mean, I guess my question is, do you like Spike more than Gizmo?
No.
Or is Gizmo your...
Gizmo's my favorite.
What would you, when you had your toy, what did you do?
Now, if we were talking about part 2, that's a whole other topic, which you can ask me that.
I bet you like the girl one. Because I think
I'm giving you no hints. I'm just saying. It's not much of a spoiler that there wouldn't be much of a Gremlins 2 if there weren't Gremlins in it. So anyway, what were you going to ask? Sorry.
Where do you think they come from? I want an origin story. Like, where does the Mogwai come from? Is it an alien?
You can dive into the IMDb Do You Know trivia section if you want to know that, because there's like a thread about people asking that very question. Like, what culture does it come from? Like, the only hint they give you in the movie, and I've heard about this too, is just in the common vernacular, is you say, oh, there's a gremlin in it.
Yes.
So I don't know the etymology of following that back. What I do know is I remember from a kid, there was a Bugs Bunny Warner Brothers cartoon from I want to say the 40s or 50s about him fighting a gremlin, like dealing with a gremlin in a plane in like World War II-esque times. And the gremlin's trying to take the plane out and Bugs Bunny's trying to stop him. So the idea of gremlins being in the works, nowadays you call it like Ghost in the Machine. I think that's kind of a more modern term type of just, there's something like wonky going on and breaking stuff.
Okay.
But for the actual creatures you're talking about, I don't know. That's why they just picked like, especially in the 80s, like Chinese culture was like this big like mystery, right? In the US at least. So it was very mysterious and ancient. And so that's why they probably picked that. Like, oh, hey, look, they just have a creature. And the creature does these things. Now, while we were watching the movie, the most important question that occurred to me watching it this time was, how do they hydrate?
How exactly?
If they can't drink water, every other creature on our planet pretty much needs water to live. Like, it's amazing.
And there's water in things. So if he eats a cucumber, does that moisture, or is it just water in contact with the skin?
Yeah.
I think it's water making contact with the skin.
And if it rains too, like, okay. And speaking of fun facts, did the town look familiar to you at all?
Oh, besides looking like our town?
It is in every town type thing, yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those general, like, old town America, small town places. No, what?
No?
What's the problem?
Is it the kind of place you'd want to go back to?
Ooh. Do you need 1.21 gigawatts?
You sure do. You sure do.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see that.
It's the Universal Studios backlot for Back to the Future.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't
fun.
that cool?
Yeah, that's really cool. That's why everything seems so walkable. Billy walks everywhere because his car doesn't work. But
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they just swapped out all the storefront like placards and signs and stuff.
Cool.
Isn't that neat?
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. But anyway. Okay. So this is my favorite part. This is when I asked the random question. So what 3 rules for caring for you would there be? Like if someone were to like get handed you and they had to say, these are 3 rules you need to follow.
Easy.
Okay.
Make sure you feed her right when she wakes up.
Okay.
Chocolate in limited quantities.
Okay. That's a good one.
And
I would say always expose her to sunlight.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, doesn't like darkness.
Yeah.
Make sure that everything is well lit.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
3 rules for me. Don't feed him before noon. Always make sure, always acknowledge him when he's talking. Otherwise he gets grumpy. And make sure he has, mine was probably don't expose him to sunlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's totally you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you got before we go in?
Can I have a Mogwai for Christmas, please?
If it's within my power, I will get you a Mogwai for Christmas.
Yay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
What is that?
Mogwai.
What's he doing?
Singing. He does that sometimes.
You know what?
What?
I'll bet every kid in America would like to have one of these.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Sorry. Who's in that jar?
Nothing, just water.
Why is he making that noise?
The one with the stripe seems to be the leader. Well, it's not 12 o'clock yet. All right. Keep an eye on him, kids. I'll be back in a second.
Gizmo. Now I have another reason to hate Christmas. What are they doing?
We're watching Snow White. And they love it.